This is not cool, Blizzard. Recently, Blizzard announced a brand new Warlock card from the upcoming expansion, Knights of the Frozen Throne. Defile, a 2-mana Warlock spell, reads, deal 1 damage to each minion. If any minions die, repeat this. Along with this new card, we also have a nerf coming to everyone's favorite Undead Horsey. If Defile were to be put in the game right now, playing it with a Dreadsteed on board would result in infinite spellcasts and infinite ponies, which kind of breaks the game. Because of how the cards interact, Blizzard has nerfed Dreadsteed to say, at the end of your turn, summon a Dreadsteed. Now I have some issues and concerns with this change, and I'm going to tell you all about them. Bad nerf. This nerf completely changes the way that Dreadsteed works. Back in Last Standard, or even in Wild right now, you could make a really cool unique deck with Dreadsteed as the centerpiece. Cards like Power Overwhelming, Sacrificial Pact, and Baron Rivendare created a unique deck built around abusing Dreadsteed's Death Rattle to win games. This nerf changes all of that. You can't use the card in the same way as you could before, thus ruining the spirit of the card. Now, I'm not running home every night to come and play my Dreadsteed deck, but I think it's really cool to have such a unique card that creates a whole deck built around it. And it also kind of irks me that Blizzard takes a lot of time and consideration with nerfs like Small Time Buccaneer or Undertaker, but they're super willing to pre-nerf this non-competitive playable Wild card. The Spirit of Wild. Wild, the format where anything can happen. Wild is supposed to be the place where we have these crazy card interactions. Cards that were never meant to be printed in the same sets together, that were never meant to interact, coming together to make really cool and powerful synergies. Magic the Gathering also has a standard format like Hearthstone where you're playing with just the newer cards, but they also have formats like Wild where you have access to older cards as well. In the Magic format Legacy, a really interesting combo is pairing Vampire Hexmage with the land Dark Depths. Dark Depths summons a really huge minion after you spend several turns and mana on it, but Vampire Hexmage throws that out the window, giving you your 20/20 Flying Indestructible token right away. This interaction was never intended by the developers, and cheats on certain card restrictions, leaving you with a super powerful combo. As time goes on, a lot of this stuff is going to happen in Hearthstone too, where there's going to be these weird interactions, and it kind of disappoints me that Blizzard would rather change these things than embrace them. Future concerns. I really hope these kinds of changes aren't going to become a trend. What if they print some kind of weird Battlecry card that has a game-breaking interaction with Bran? Are we just going to nerf him too? I know that example is a little bit extreme, but it still scares me. Wild could grow to become its own awesome, powerful format with its identity away from Standard. And interactions like this are how that could happen. If the card breaks the game with the current rules, just change how its interaction works instead of killing the spirit of the card. What if it only triggered one time, or stopped casting if you filled your board with Dreadsteeds? I don't feel a 2-card combo for 6 mana that super wipes the board and leaves you with a bunch of 1/1s is super game-breaking. Powerful? Absolutely. But game-breaking? I wouldn't say that. I really wish Blizzard would have just released the interaction and let the players figure it out. And if I'm totally wrong and we really needed the nerf, we can change it later. Conclusion. That's my thoughts on this change. I really hope Blizzard can see things differently in the future and really have this format become wild. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably like Hearthstone to some extent, but did you know that the game used to have traditional drafting and a world map? Check out my video on the end card, What Hearthstone Could Have Been.